Before I go and talk about how you can remember 2000 words for GRE, let me address one question that I've been asked many times. Quite often students ask me, sir, how many words would be good enough for me? And for that my answer is very simple. What is the definition of good? If you are asking me what is the minimum number of words that you need to remember to get a full score in the verbal section of GRE, answer would be probably about 250 words. Now before you get excited with this small number, let me add on what am I talking about. When I say 250 words, these are those words that come on your day of your GRE. Because the problem is you do not know which words will come on the day of GRE, for you to get a good score in GRE, what you need to do is obviously invest more in learning as many words as you can. I don't believe in this concept of high frequency words. There are quite a few organizations which say that alright, these are the most important words that you need to remember. The reason I do not believe in that is because these are words that come quite often. But looking at the number of students who write GRE, the chances of these words coming for you probably could be zero as well. So what are my recommendations? And I'm also going to be sharing with you the technique that I use to get 166 in GRE. I'm talking about the verbal section. Number one, do not go by reading through word list. The reason I say that is it puts a lot of pressure on you. For example, if you were to look at an alphabet like S, there are too many words in that. And because your quest is that I need to complete it, and you will not be able to complete it, you will get stuck in that word list. You will not be able to go to the other alphabets. So what is my recommendation? My recommendation is enjoy reading, read it randomly. For example, if you are using a book to read, randomly take a page and then look at the words, try to remember the words, and then after a few hours, come back to the words and see to it whether you are able to recall those words. And words which you are able to recall, put a tick. Words you are not able to recall, put a dot. Why am I asking you to put a dot? So that after some time you can come back to the words, but this time you are not concentrating on words which you have ticked because you already know those. That way you are spending more time learning words which I call as stubborn words. What are these stubborn words? These are those words you find it tough to remember. Do remember the fact that depending on your background, certain words which are stubborn to you might not be stubborn to me because my background is different. Similarly, certain words which are stubborn to me might not be stubborn to you. So you need to really discover what are the words which are causing a problem for you and then spend more time learning those words. However, strategy number 2 is what I find more effective, and that is the method I use while I teach. Today I am a trainer for GRE vocabulary, for example. Group the words and learn. The beauty is if you look at the words, many of these words can be learned by understanding either the root method, that is how the words have been derived. You look at the words and you suddenly realize the fact that there is an element of commonality that is there. For example, if you are learning a word egress, now you might not have heard of the word egress, but you have heard of the word called progress. You have heard about the word congress, regress, retrogress. Now what happens is when you start looking at these words as a group, you can link them with a simpler word that you know of. And that method of learning is a very powerful method of learning because our mind is so used to learning things in groups. I'll give you an example. I am going to give you an assignment, all right? I'm going to ask you to name all your classmates of your 10th class. Now I bet my life on it. You are not going to immediately say, all right, roll number 1 is this person, roll number 2 is this person, roll number 3 is that person. Because if you are able to do so, let me assure you, you are a James Bond. In all likeliness, what you're going to do is, you're going to quickly visualize your classroom, think of few of your friends at different places in the classroom, and then think of the students who are sitting around them. That is the way mind works. It works through grouping. So group the words. Learning them through groups, and the group should have some sense. It could be words which are synonymous, that means having the same meanings. It could be words which share the same root. It could be words that can be learned through stories. For example, there are many words in English which come through the story which is related to the movie Troy. Have you seen the movie Troy? It's a very interesting movie. But there are so many words that come into GRE from there. Spartan, for example, is a word in GRE. And guess what? It comes from the story on which that movie has been made. Similarly, Hector comes from there. Achilles' heel comes from there. Forte comes from there. Foible comes from there. So there are words that you can learn through stories. So you need to therefore use different techniques for remembering these words. Because all these words cannot be learned using one method. They won't fit there. In effect, what am I talking about? 2000 words are essential if you want to get a good score. But don't force yourself to learn words using word list method alone. I'm not saying don't use that method. Yes, go ahead and do that. Especially if you look at, alphabets W, X, Y, Z, they're short. Why not? For that, go ahead and learn it using the word list. But can you really learn all the words using that? Answer is no. At least I have failed, and I've seen many students fail. And let's not forget, I've been a teacher for the last 15 years, training students, for vocabulary of GRE. Now, if you look at the Contour online platform, and I take live classes on vocabulary, and these classes are held on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, because vocabulary is the foundation for GRE. You will notice the fact that I use words of story, learning words through stories, through groups, through roots, and that innovation and that technique is something very easy to adopt, and you should adopt. Do see to it that you are registering for the Contour Online's high score GRE thing. It's a free registration. You can attend a few of my sessions. But these methods which I'm talking about, and the methods which I actually teach, are methods that I learned through experimentation, and so can you. But yes, you need to learn. As I said, going to US is very easy. Getting into a good college is, however, a prerequisite for you to make a career in US. And a good score will go a long way in that. We are Indians, we are very strong in mathematics. One place where we lose out tremendously is on the verbal reasoning. Don't do that. If your memory is weak, look at me. My memory is pathetic. But I have 335 out of 314 GRE. Because the beauty about words in GRE is they can be learnt. Because if you can see the words, you see the hint sitting on the words. The beauty about GRE is the choices that they give are not so narrow too. So if you do know the shades of the words, you will be able to eliminate the choices also. So those techniques you need to understand. I'll give you an example before I stop. I'm talking about, let us say, a student called Sandhya. I'm saying Sandhya is very intelligent and dash. Now you need to pick the right option that fits in that missing word. Now you should immediately know the fact that the moment I say Sandhya is intelligent and dash, and does not change the tone, which means the dash has to be a positive word. So what is the first thing you should do? Look at the choices and eliminate all the words which are negative. So you may not know the word exact meaning, but you know its word is negative. It helps. So such techniques do become useful. So go ahead, romance with words, and believe me, if you can do that, you will do well in GRE. And 2000 words, that's not going to be a challenge.